What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital. We're here with Chris Anderson, CEO, President, and Director of Ximen Mining. Nice to have you on, Chris. How are you today?
I'm excellent, Aaron. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to talk about the company. So can you start by giving us a quick introduction when it comes to Ximen Mining and telling us a bit more about what you guys do, in the company?
Yeah, so what we started in 2014, Aaron, we started looking at acquiring high-grade gold assets in southern British Columbia. So we wanted a stable political and legal environment to build our portfolio of assets in. And we were working with a group of gentlemen that had worked in the underground mining business, senior mining, PNGs and stuff that have all worked within southern British Columbia. So we wanted to put together a portfolio of high-grade gold assets where you didn't need a helicopter to get to the properties. You could actually go to Tim Hortons and pick up a coffee and drive there, was kind of our premise. And there was high-grade gold assets that we wanted to go after. So we've been doing that since 2014 till now. And our overall objective was to put together a portfolio of assets that would give us the potential to raise somewhere between, or exploration target of between 8 to 10 million ounces of gold and become a small producer. And that was what our objective was. And we're pretty much there, right? So that's what we've got in the company as far as a portfolio goes.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's quite a number of assets and quite a lot of gold in the ground. So like you said, Ximen is focused on high-grade gold exploration in southern British Columbia. So could you tell us a little bit more about those projects?
Sure. And the other thing I guess I should have mentioned to you as well is that we like to acquire the assets 100%. And if your audience is familiar, but we also bought out all the NSRs on them as well. So we like to own everything, completely, not have a gun to our head, so to speak, with large property payments and stuff. We've gone through that and we have paid millions of dollars for several of the projects, right? So we've accomplished those goals and that heavy lifting has been completed. And so the projects are we're very fortunate. The first, we didn't acquire them all in series, but we have the first and the second past producing gold mines in southern BC. And we own those projects 100%. And one of those projects right now, we're waiting on a draft permit, which we expect to come in. We've been working on it for a couple of years now. We expect that to come in shortly. And then we're planning on starting a decline, rolling into a bulk sample, and then a small mining permit on that. And then the second project that we own, we'll actually be doing some work on this year. That's called the Oleary project. That was the second producer of gold in BC. And then we have what we call our big white elephant in the company as far as a target goes. Well, big elephant, not big white elephant, but it's called the Brett. It's one of the first epithermal gold projects in southern British Columbia. And we've spent millions of dollars acquiring that. And I've seen several $1 million in development on that. It's had a bulk sample done. But it's a big epithermal project that's yet to be mined in southern BC. And we own that 100% and we're permitted on that underground, or we're in the middle of permitting the underground for further extensive drilling, and we're permitted on the surface for continuation of drilling. So there'll be news out on that. And then we have a series of other high-grade asset areas that we've acquired. We're not dealing with the PowerPoint here, but we picked up an area which we called Wild Creek, and that area there has seen probably most of the alluvial gold in southern BC. I think it's seen over 10 million ounces of alluvial gold, but the target area has never really been defined. So we spent a couple years dealing with several different groups and assembling that land package, and we're well over 10,000 hectares in there, and we're permitted in there, and we'll be doing a bunch of work in there as well. And then around the Kenville gold mine itself, that we are waiting on our draft permit. We've spent the last few years assembling the several properties around there, dealt with different vendors and different family groups, and we put together quite an extensive land package all around there. We just finished building we took 3 acres of the Kenville ground because we own it all 100%. And we turned it into a camp facility for our team. So we've taken 3 acres and put in water and sewer and power. And we're just moving all the camp facilities in there now so that we can move our exploration team and the mining team up there. And they're going to be self-housed on our property to work in and around the region there. And then in the Greenwood camp, we've got quite a bit of land package around the prolific mining district in Greenwood, which we're also permitted and be doing some drilling on as well. And over in Tuolumne, we've got an interesting silver gold project there as well. So yeah, we got quite a bit of grounds, mining leases, a lot of crown grants, busy, big team, lots of organizing.
Yeah, for sure. You guys got a lot going on. So let's focus on, the Kenville gold mine. That has
Sure.
potential to come back into production. So can you tell us a little bit more about your plans with that asset?
Yeah, so that asset was one of the first producers, as I said, in BC. And the gentleman that was the last gentleman, the mine manager, to take material out of there in the 90s was a gentleman named Lloyd Penner. And he's worked all around the world and worked on several other high-grade gold assets in southern BC. But that's always been a pet project of his. He's loved it. It's tombstone granite, very pristine and green. It's a great project all in all. The portals that were developed in the late 1800s are still in good standing. It's like I said, tombstone granite, some of the best rock to mine in. There's if you go through the PowerPoint, there's me drinking water coming out of the 257 portal. Great drinking water, and it's high grade gold. And so Lloyd was in there and was the last man to take ore out in the late 90s. And then in 2010, he went back in there, and there was an area that was undrilled. And 10, 11, and 12 did some more extensive drilling and found the extension of the original Kenville veins and some of the best grades that have ever been drilled on the property. So we developed a plan to go in there and start remining the extension of the original Kenville veins. So essentially what we've got is we've got a situation where we own the surface rights, the underground rights. We own all the buildings, all the equipment. We don't need any CapEx for any of that. We've got a 750 meter strike zone. We go through a series of high grade veins down to what we call as the sweet spot. And there we anticipate a mine life of about 15 years. And it's a small scale mine, but we anticipate it'll be good cash flow for us. We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of, again, this is all conceptual, but we're looking at, $1,000 Canadian all in is what we're looking at. And we're targeting to be 125 ton a day, a half ounce on deck, right? That's what our overall plan is. And we hope that we can develop something that with a mine life of about 15 years. Again, it's all conceptual. I have to say that. And but we do have conceptual mine plan, and that's what we're targeting. We own all our own equipment. We've tied in. So we're, our objective is to create high impact paying jobs for the area. I think we'll be one of the larger producers in the area. We've got a small environmental footprint. We've tied in with the Kootenay Dam. We own our own transformers. We're just finishing putting in all the high power hydro lines now. So, a very small footprint will create some great jobs in the area that'll pay well. And it'll be old school underground mining. And so that's what that project is. Yeah.
That's interesting. So that sounds really great. So can you give us some updates on your drill program now, and which areas, you're most focused on in the short term, you could say?
Yeah. Just one other thing I wanted to say about the Kenville is that we have, we did need some, although we don't need any CapEx, we need some cash flow. So we did secure a funder out of Europe for 5 million US. We were looking for 3.5 million Canadian just to manage the cash flow till we got into some production. We're targeting after the 12th month to be pulling out about 1,000 ounces a month. And so we've secured that funding. I just wanted to mention that's the only requirement that we need is for cash on the Kenville, other, because we don't need any CapEx. As far as exploration and drilling goes, because of our portfolio of projects, we've got several permits, but you'll see that we'll be focusing on some of the news that we put out recently is the Bud Elk. We did an airborne survey over there. We got copper, gold, porphyry targets there permitted. So we'll be announcing some drilling on that shortly. And then the Brett, we'll be looking at doing some surface drilling on the Brett as well, and some regional work. And then also on the Amelia gold project, which is the second past producing gold project in BC. We'll be doing that's all permitted, and we'll be announcing a bunch of drilling and work on that as well. We'll go into a big regional program of soil sampling, till sampling, stream sediment sampling, and all that throughout the region, southern BC, throughout all our properties. And then you'll see a series of drill programs on the Brett, the Bud Elk, Amelia, and then in the Nelson camp and in the Greenwood camp. So we do have a very aggressive plan. We've got over 100,000 meters of drilling that we want to do in the next few years, and we've got it all laid out. So in our PowerPoint. But this year, we've got 3 programs ready to go. So big program, lots of work, lots of news, lots of stuff to do to keep us busy.
For sure. It's going to be an exciting year for you guys. So, you're focused on Southern British Columbia. It's a very famous mining jurisdiction, also a very safe mining jurisdiction. So why do jurisdictions matter more than ever now in this, with everything going on in the world? Why are jurisdictions so important?
Well, you want to understand, for one, the legal environment that you're working in to make sure it's safe, and you understand all the premises between the arrangements that you can have. And then also the jurisdictions as far as access and permitting goes. So although it's I would say it's cumbersome here in BC, it's thorough is what I would probably better word to say. It's thorough, but we know what we're dealing with when it comes to permitting here. And we know, and we understand what's expected of us. So those are some of the things that we like to, for permitting. And then in particular in Southern BC, we wanted to be in an area where we didn't have to rely on a helicopter lights and out service. We've been fortunate in a lot of our areas in Southern BC. There has been some fires and floods. So it has impacted us mildly on some of our projects, but not on our key assets. So Kenville has been able to 24/7 all year round. It's great access. We've been able to work in there, and that's going to be our main focus. And then the Brett and Amelia, the Brett we've had to deal with. Well, we had some fire issues there last year, but didn't impact our particular property. But so we're pretty good, and all of them have road access and stuff. So I hope that answers your question.
No, that's great. Yeah. So what are some of the near-term catalysts then investors, shareholders should be looking out for?
Yeah, I think the very near-term catalyst, the big one for us, is really the draft permit, which we're expecting shortly. And when we get the draft permit for the Kenville, then we'll start collaring the decline. And within 3 months of collaring the decline, we should be into a swarm of high-grade gold veins. And from there on until the next 9 months are completed, we'll be doing development on that project. And then hopefully at the end of the 12 months, we'll be actually pulling some gold out of the ground. And we anticipate on taking that down to the mill in Greenwood. So we're pretty excited. That's a big one for us. And then we've got some high grade targets, both at Bud Elk, the Brett, and the Amelia. And so those drilling campaigns that we move into could be very significant for the company, depending on the results, of course. But because we'll be doing a lot of drilling, I think the news flow will be very good. But I guess you could say the permitting at Kenville, and then moving in several drill campaigns that we've got going on.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be an exciting year for you guys. Looking forward to covering it. So, where's the best place for investors to go for more information if they want to learn about Ximen Mining?
Well, you go to our website, which is ximenminingcorp.com, and you can get the phone number there, and you could talk to our IR ladies, Sophie Caesar, or you can send us an email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for you, or call our office.
Awesome, Chris. Well, thank you so much for those updates, and I look forward to covering the company, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below, along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.